He hasn't come out of the closet since his son died. He's just too traumatised.
Did that happen to him?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
His son drowned.
He's so traumatised that this is what he does to singers.
No, his... I think he had an asthma attack.
That was my John Travolta. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea what you're doing.
I'm going to show you that.
Hello, I'm Chris.
And I'm Tom.
And you're watching That Review Show. Tom, what are we talking about today?
Deadpool.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Packed in your stack, especially in the back, brother. Wanna thank your mother for a butt like that. You're a shotgun. Hey, what's the fuck that say? I wanna know, how does it hang? Straight up, wait up, hold up, Mr. Buck, like Prince Nick, you're a sexy mother.
So, Chris, what is Deadpool about?
It's about...
Stop, ask me that question.
So, Tom, what is Deadpool about?
It's my favourite movie so far, about a man dying of cancer. There's some other films that discuss the subject matter. I think the best element of this film was that. Anyway, what's the actual plot, Chris?
So, man dying of cancer gets offered... nasty mercenary man, not a hero.
Not a hero.
Not a hero.
Not a hero, I'm not a hero, the film says.
You're probably thinking, this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. Surprise. This is a different kind of superhero story.
Gets offered sort of a miracle cure for his cancer. We're going to make you better and give you abilities and whatnot. And in being given these abilities, he also gets fugly.
He just gets ugly, that's the main problem.
And then decides to murder lots of people until he's made beautiful again.
Yeah, he's trying to go back to the guy who made him ugly to make himself beautiful again,
That's
so that he can go back to his girlfriend. That's the
Yes.
whole stakes of the film, yeah.
Yes. What did you think of Deadpool? Deadpool.
Do you know, I hadn't realised until that plot synopsis how kind of shallow the film is, and
Yeah.
I do appreciate that
No,
about it.
I've only just realised that.
That is good. That is good, because I think I should start off by saying I don't like superhero movies, like, at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Beyond that, I just thought, oh God, we're doing more superheroes, are we? And then they never went away. And like this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe to me is a bit baffling. I'm not that it's target market, I'm aware of that. It's for 15-year-olds, really. Though adults seem to like them too. And this was refreshing in its shallowness. It did a lot of things that I wasn't expecting it to do to undermine the gravitas. However, it also quite often undermined itself, meaning that a lot of it fell flat for me. How about you?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself all the way through. I've realised now that Hollywood films are all sort of pretty good up until the last 15 minutes, I've decided.
Yeah, you said this.
The last 15 minutes of this annoyed me. The last 15 minutes of The Revenant annoyed me. The last 15 minutes of The Martian annoyed me.
Krampus.
Last 15 minutes of Krampus annoyed me, yeah. They don't seem to know how to end. And I thought this film was good fun. It poked a lot of fun at movies in general, but particularly at the kind of Marvel and X-Men movies.
Yeah, not a hero is what this film was about.
Yeah, but then towards the end, it just
He became a hero.
Another Marvel superhero. It had the stupid ending with the stupid fight with a stupid bad guy and a stupid collapsing thing. I don't even know what they were on. I think it was like a container ship or something, and it was just like...
I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Because it did actually put scenes in and moments to go out of its way to be like, this isn't a conventional superhero film. But actually, if we look at plot structure and the way it resolved and the things he did, he saved the girl. Yes, he may have shot people on the way, unlike Batman, and not been heroic in that way. But, structurally, he saves the girl and gets the girl, and well done, go hero. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like, I guess he has to do that because we have to like him, we have to be on his side, and we do. It's enjoyable. I cared about Deadpool, cared about his story, wanted to follow him into his cancer and out of it again, and into his trying not to be fugly mission.
I think it's a difficult thing. I mean, obviously, the kind of best received superhero films of recent years in terms of kind of critically have been the Nolan Batman films, but even they, end...
And also Avengers.
Well, yeah.
Critically, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so shut the... Batman Begins, the ending was the annoying, oh no, now there's a train with the toxin.
The setup was so good, and then it's just like, gas is coming out of the city, save the train.
And then Dark Knight Rises, again, more flawed than Begins, but a really good film, but then at the end... Dark Knight I quite liked. Dark Knight Rises, though, suffered from now we have to defuse the bomb before it destroys the city.
We don't actually manage to do that, but somehow plot device,
But and this film was the same sort of thing, where you had quite an interesting film, and then the end was, now I've got to save the girl.
I mean, probably the main problem with it for me, if I was to talk about this as a good film or not a good film, is that the thing I enjoyed the most was all the stuff when he hadn't yet become Deadpool. I loved all that, the relationship moments, him getting to know his girlfriend, a quite bizarre sex montage that was actually really good. He said, let's spend the year together, and then you see them at all like the public holidays, wishing each other a public holiday in very odd... through the medium of sex, and that was funny. That was good. That was good.
Well,
didn't laugh at it though, did I?
I think my favourite of the X-Men films was the second one, because in that one Wolverine actually stabs people to death quite frequently, and I liked that they had that in this, and they had quite a lot of... It was very quickly edited, but they had a lot of gore in it, people's legs being cut off and heads being cut off and kicked at other people and that sort of thing.
Yeah, though, funnily enough, in the editing, I never felt it was like super exciting, the combat. It was quite fast-paced, and there was some really cool, like, comic booky, moves being done, but it was never that, like, not like, you watch Lord of the Rings movies, and I want to watch Strider hit people with that sword. Yeah. Whereas with Deadpool, it's like, okay. Hey, cool, he kicked his head. And stuff like that. But it was never like, whoa, look at that.
Yeah, and the final fight scene was just underwhelming. There were two separate fights really going on, and they were both pretty dull, I thought.
Yeah, so I mean, the action was passable. It's good, decent, good ideas in it. Some of the editing a bit dull. The plot was fine, solid. Accidentally undermines itself by becoming a superhero film when it's pretending not to be. A bit like every film that's tried to do that. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Super, but I'm thinking of.
No, Super. I hated Super.
Really, I haven't seen it. But what's the one? Kill Bill.
Kick-Ass.
Volume Kick-Ass. That's it. Kick-Ass. Blue hair girl says the C word. Purple hair girl. What colour hair does she have?
I can't remember.
Who cares? Anyway, so yeah, it suffered from the same problem that films that try to undermine superhero genre films do, which is that they become superhero films.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to talk a bit about the humour.
Okay.
Yeah, the humour falls into a number of categories. There's a lot of crafting towards jokes and comedy and humour. I'm not sure it's all achieved. Now, I want to talk particularly about 3 jokes, or 3 moments, I should say, that I laughed. I only laughed 3 times in the film. And I think for very good reasons, but not necessarily good reasons from the filmmaker's perspective. But at any rate, I've just written down a list of types of comedy in this film. So we have wacky lines, which are all down to the delivery of Ryan Reynolds and whether or not you like random. Witty lines, which tend to be overlong, particularly between him and his sidekick friend. Well, not sidekick, but his friend who works at the bar. There's these really long lines that are supposed to be witty, well-written dialogue.
Oh, motherfucker, you are hard to look at.
Like a testicle with teeth.
You look like Freddy Krueger face-fucked a topographical map of Utah.
Exactly.
You look like the inside of other people's assholes. You are haunting. You look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado.
Thank you.
And they just went on, and I was just, I'm bored now. Come on, make it funny.
Yeah.
Crude lines, which I didn't find funny ever, but then it's a 15 targeted at 15-year-olds, they like to hear the words for people's genitalia. There was some satire on cinema that I did quite appreciate. It sort of mocked it. I'm going to talk about one of those. And then satire of superhero movies. There's people saying oh, you two budget X-Men, you're rubbish. And why is it that there's only ever 2 of you? Is it because he couldn't afford, or the production studio couldn't afford another one? And that's, there's a lot of fourth wall breaking to create satire.
Yeah. Which, can I just point out before you talk more in depth? I chuckled throughout. I didn't find it very funny.
I smiled a lot, but I didn't laugh,
But I really liked, and this is part of why I found the ending so disappointing, I really liked all the satire and the commentary on X-Men films and superhero films.
I liked that, and also the Hollywood commentary.
Yes.
I thought all the just pop culture references were pointless.
See, but
there was a joke about Taken you liked. I thought was a bit lame.
Yeah, but can I just say though, I think unlike something like A Million Ways to Die in the West,
it's not just references; it's jokes.
Yes.
Yes.
So his joke about Taken is he's up at night worrying about his cancer, and the girlfriend says what's wrong, and he says, "Oh, I just had my Liam Neeson nightmare. I dreamt I'd kidnapped his daughter, and he wasn't having any of it." And that's just a nice little joke about the Taken franchise.
Yeah.
And it worked in the context as well. So it was, that was his character. He was silly, so she says what's wrong, and rather than saying I'm really worried because I'm dying of cancer, he makes a joke about a film that people know. And
yeah. I mean, and it was part of a crafted joke. Now the thing is, I want to talk about what made me laugh in this film, because actually I felt the joke crafting was so middle of the road or a bit poor at times that actually never was it witty enough to make me laugh. Okay, I'd like you to picture, if you will, a diagram. It's a gauge. It goes from 0 to funny. Okay, and I want to add my 3 jokes to it. Okay, they're different sizes. Let's start with the smallest one. Say that's about this big.
This is sounding like a scene from Deadpool.
Yeah, thanks. The smallest joke should be about that big,
okay.
And then the second funny should be about that big, and then the biggest funny should be about that big. Okay. So we've got a partially filled funny thing, and you notice it doesn't yet reach the top. Let's imagine they're coloured.
Okay.
Let's imagine those 3 sections are coloured.
So these jokes all adding up to the overall amount of comedy that there should be in the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bottom one, could we colour that red? Yep. The middle one, that's twice the size of that. Let's have that green, and let's have the biggest and funniest thing also red.
Okay. And these are all one on top of the other.
Oh yeah, just like a stacking filled up. Okay. So let's look at funny laugh number 1, earliest in the film and the smallest laugh for me. There was a character early on, the main villain. In fact, you turned to me and went, "Is that Nicholas Hoult?" Just before you asked me that, I had laughed because I thought the person he was talking to was Omid Jalili, and I just thought they can't really have put him in this film, and it wasn't. And I'll never ever say this again, and I have never said it before, but this film would have been funnier with Omid Jalili. Mm-hmm. So that was a joke, but obviously it has to be coloured red because the filmmakers completely could not have intended that. It wasn't a joke that they were trying to make.
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing I laughed at was there's a big animosity between the 2 main characters, and one of them keeps asking the other, what's my name? And the other won't reply. And there's a moment where he says, okay, well, I'll show you your name. And when he shows him, that was really funny. It was an excellently crafted joke. I kind of half predicted it in my head, but to see it just suddenly happen was hilarious, and I laughed out loud. So that was a good, well-crafted, big, well-done joke. Okay. The funniest thing in the film for me, though, was a complete cock-up by the filmmakers. Early on the film, right, they start off with the female lead that he's met, and he takes her on a date that she wasn't expecting because she's a prostitute. She thought he'd just take her back to his place, and he says, well, I want to get to know the real you, not the 2-dimensional Hollywood version. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay, so this character's being represented as being, having depth and being more than just a function or, just a lady character. Well, not to spoil too much, but she is part of the stakes of the film functionally, and she's the prize that he has to win back. And there's a shot that it just cut to with the bad guy and her, and she's actually in a box stuck, and all it needed was her screaming and him to be a dragon for it to be any more reductive and 2-dimensional cardboard cutouting. And I laughed so loud, and I think other people in the cinema must have been like, why is he laughing at that? That's we've all been laughing at when Deadpool says dick or vagina. Yeah. I'm laughing because the film has just shat itself. Yeah. You're like, and that was hilarious. Now, maybe I'm just too cynical. Maybe this film's not aimed at me. But the things that I found funny for clever reasons.
Yes.
There wasn't enough of clever.
I think the film was being clever for its target audience, and I think that's maybe...
Yes, it was, and I think it was clever for its target audience. I think the witty dialogue didn't measure up to me, because I wanted Arrested Development for witty dialogue. Yeah,
overall, I enjoyed this film, but I just found it slightly disappointing, because it was rather, I don't want to say childish, but maybe immature, which is maybe the character you could argue that. I know Deadpool is the merc with the mouth, and he's meant to be sort of a bit of a dickhead, but
I think what I have to think is this: I don't like Marvel films. I don't like superhero films. I don't bloody like men in tights running around. This film was trying to make people who don't like that like those films a bit more, and it was good, but it wasn't good enough. I still won't, and I still don't. And I didn't think this was... Yeah, I just didn't think it was good enough. But I liked it, and I enjoyed watching it. I think it's worth the ticket price for almost everyone else.
Yes.
I am just a horrible, cynical asshole who will not bow to superhero movies.
But yeah, is it worth the ticket price? I think it is. I think it was enjoyable.
Well, everyone we went to see it with was like, it was great, and then there's me going, no, it had problems, and like, what problems? It was perfect.
There's me going, the ending was stupid because they were taking the piss out of superhero films.
I'm mischaracterising them. They didn't say it was perfect, but they said that they were laughing throughout and things like that.
Yeah, and I agree
and
with
they're
that.
right. To be honest, they're right. It is a good enough film for most audiences, I suppose. Yeah, so go watch it. It's decent. You'll enjoy it. But not if you're like me and you're put off by just rude being funny or, wacky being funny. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's the character premise. I don't depend on that for comedy. Tell me a good joke.
Mm.
Yeah. Look, at least this film wasn't mean-spirited.
There was a little towards the blind woman, though.
Yeah, that was odd. Actually, I felt... Because I really liked his relationship with the female love interest. I thought that was actually quite touching, except for the fact she's reduced at the end. But never mind. But his relationship with the old lady, he was just horrible to her. Like, actually a massive arsehole. And I was like, are we watching Snoop Dogg again? Well, really?
I feel like they had a playful relationship.
It reeks like old lady pants in here.
Sounds like you have a dick in your mouth.
He made her get out of the room so he could masturbate. It's her house, man.
No, he left the room. That's why he went off with his unicorn and then did the drive-by.
No, he said, it's going to feel so big in my hand.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah. He ushered her out at that point. That was the second masturbation reference in that scene.
It was just odd.
Hashtag blind shaming.
Chris, just want to talk about something that you mentioned that annoyed you.
Go on.
Well, the main antagonist in this film says he can't feel any pain.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to rant about this.
Go on, then.
I'm going to move the camera and put it on my face. Yeah, I wanted to talk about...
Continuity.
I wanted to talk about something that really annoyed me. So the main bad guy in this has also been through the process where they awaken the mutant gene inside you.
Yeah.
There's something inside you. It's hard to explain.
It's a cesarean fart.
Yeah, they put you in an oxygen tank and you're like, oh, and then you go into a mutant.
That's not the only way, but they do use it on him and then on the girlfriend because... Are they trying to unlock her mutant potential? Never mind.
Anyway, so the main bad guy is like, his whatever they did to him, it's made his reflexes faster and it's burnt all his nerve endings so he feels no pain, and in fact he doesn't feel anything. But what annoys me about that,
yes,
and I know superhero films suspend disbelief, I know I've said this in previous reviews where but
it does tell you quite clearly his powers.
He feels no pain. Why does that mean that he can throw Ryan Reynolds 12 feet across the room?
That's reflexes. That's all in the reflexes. Have you not seen Big Trouble in Little China?
No. Why, when impaled with a sword...
Through the lung.
Through sort of here-ish...
Severed bronchus.
He then wanders off, goes back to his little sidekick, and while she's stitching him up, he says, oh, whatever, blah, 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 it's Wade Wilson's come back. I wish I had his healing powers, though.
It's like, well, you clearly do, because you've just got a little scar there, a little scar there. What about the replacement lung you'd have needed?
Yeah, and there's a bit later on where he gets pinned through the leg to a thing, and he breaks the sword off and then takes his leg off and then just carries on
kick
running.
Fighting. Yeah.
And it's like, a lack of pain does not mean that severed muscles and punctured lungs have no effect on you. And
in fact, it would be worse than anything, wouldn't it? It would just mean that you'd die more easily because you wouldn't realise you had severe injuries that need treating.
What is the thing?
It's like in Half-Life, you get the hazard suit to tell you when you're dying. It goes, major fracture detected, because you don't actually feel that pain.
But that annoyed me. We've clearly established that his powers are reflexes and he doesn't feel pain, and then for some reason that gives him super strength and the ability to just not only ignore pain but ignore the consequences of serious wounds.
That's the lazy writing bit of this film.
Down, like a set free. I won't be the one ending up on the beat. Please, was the only thing you can't steal. Came out to play, stay out my way. X gon' give it to ya, he gon' give it to ya. X gon' give it to ya, he gon' give it to ya.
Oh, Will Smith's in it. Oh no, he's produced it.
But no, a second. I just want to make a concluding comment. Right. So yeah, Deadpool's comedy, to conclude, it's got rudeness, it's got wackiness, it's got crazy silliness, and it's also got satire. It's sort of like all the eras of South Park.
Yeah,
But I prefer to watch South Park,
that's just so long.
particularly like the later seasons where they're actually just going full on balls to the wall satire.
Yes.
You know, like take this Scientology, that sort of thing, and Catholicism they take down.
Well, then again,
Which is
maybe
crazy.
maybe watch South Park instead of Deadpool, or if you don't have time to watch all of South Park, watch Deadpool.
Yeah,